All right, the Paynes fans, we are talking about episode 20 of season 1, A Payne Family Secret. And I actually watched the episode yesterday. I'm recording this video August 3rd, but August 2nd, I actually went ahead and watched for the first time. What was it? Episode 19 and episode 20. I forgot to name episode 19, but I did the recording of that episode review yesterday. We're talking about episode 20 today, and obviously I hope you watched the episode 19 review before watching this one, and you know that I think just out of the kindness of my heart I gave the episode like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 just because I did manage to get a few laughs of the episode. Lord have mercy. Episode 20 to me was not good at all. Like I said before, I am just a fan of Tyler Perry shows. I am not signaling out the Paynes as being a horrible show because obviously the name of this channel is the Haves and Have-Nots review, meaning that that is the primary focus of the channel, but I do talk about Tyler Perry's other works, be it movie, other TV shows, and I talk about the good as well as the bad. If you look at some of my have and have not stuff, you'll see that even though I love the show, I do have major problems with it because it isn't a perfect show. The Paynes, on the other hand, there is a lot more bad than good, I am sorry to say. Gosh, I really wish I didn't have to do this because I don't want to seem like I'm being very fair, but I think that a majority of the let's just say Tyler Perry community do not really love this show. Let me just put it this way. I know the internet is a very unreliable source for information because lo and behold, people's opinion, and then you have people who just troll. But going on like, you know, different YouTube channels and seeing like little clips of the episode or even on OWN, I don't know if OWN allows comments, so I might have seen this somewhere else. I do know there is a Paynes Facebook group. I rarely see any positive things about the show. Usually and if you watch my Payne videos, and I have a link to like a Paynes playlist at the end of this video on the end screen, you can click on it, and I have a lot of Payne videos here talking about the series itself, episode reviews. But I feel like a lot of people on the internet have the same complaints that I do about the show, about the laugh track, about the overacting, the fact that Curtis and Ella are just like over exaggerated versions of themselves from House of Payne, a lack of chemistry between the characters, and that's just to name some of the most common complaints about the show. Now, I feel like, you know, I did, and I mentioned this in my episode review for episode 19, I did get a few laughs out of that episode. This episode, however, I could not. It felt like it dragged on. It was. I know the episodes aren't even like 21 minutes long, but this one felt like it dragged on. The first 10 minutes, I think maybe the first. I think it was like, you know, the living room of Ella and Curtis's house. I think they were there for like maybe 12 to 15 minutes before they eventually went over to the church to see Joanne. I think the only break briefly was when, you know, Nyla and Kenny came, well, excuse me, Lynn and Kenny came in with Nyla, you know, from school. And it was nice to see them because, you know, I don't think I've seen them for a couple episodes. And, you know, just a little back and forth banter about Curtis being mean and eating their food. And it's like, I think Lynn was like, he tore our sandwiches up. I was laughing at that. And then, you know, a little bout with Kenny. Then they went to the kitchen. Nyla was there too, and that, oh god. I guess the only break in the action, if I'm not mistaken, was well, I'm sorry, I say action like something actually happened. The entire episode was just Curtis and Ella going back and forth about the FBI closing the laundromat and Uncle Robert's shady past and Curtis getting out of the suit. Oh yeah, that's right. Curtis was taking off his suit pants, and then the kids walked in, and they were like, "Oh my god!" I know it sounds like I'm bantering and not really getting my words straight, but I am trying really hard to find something about this episode I like, but I don't think there was anything I liked. It just felt like a big waste of time. Literally, it was just back and forth banter. And it's like, literally, if you look at the scenes, it's like Curtis and Ella going back and forth, back and forth. But it's not funny. It's just like, look at it. I challenge you. I challenge anyone. Look at least 2 to 3 episodes. I'll give it a handicap. Look at one episode of Meet the Browns and count how many times you either legitimately laughed or thought a joke was funny. Then watch 5 episodes of the Paynes. Do the same thing. Bet money Meet the Browns will get the higher count every time. And keep in mind, I'm picking Meet the Browns because that show is legitimately supposed to be comedical. There are storylines in it, but I feel like that show was made to be very, very focused on the laughs rather than like story driven like House of Payne. But House of Payne still brought the laughs now. But the reason I'm comparing Meet the Browns to the Paynes instead of the Paynes to House of Payne, which was the show it was a quote unquote spinoff from, was because the Paynes itself seems to be a show that is more comedy driven. And you're wondering, why do I think it's a comedy driven show? Because there are storylines in it. You know what? Because of the laugh track. I'm going to say just because the laugh track is over abused, that Tyler Perry must be trying to utilize it as a comedic show compared to the drama, the haves and the have-nots, and the loving you is wrong. And first off, let me just say this. This is nothing against Cassie Davis or, oh my God. Is it not Lavelle? That's Lavelle Crawford. I'm sorry, I forgot his real name, but Curtis's actor. Neither Stephanie Charles as well as the young actors for Nyla and Kendrick. Look, and Joanne, Jack A. I love Jack A. Like, this is nothing against the people on the show. I'm talking about the show itself. So if anybody's listening, don't think I'm going after them. This has nothing to do with it. No, I just know, like, if I was a character on that show, I would do what I'm told, give my check, and that's it. You know, that's not to say I wouldn't give any less than what's asked of me, but I'm just saying, like, I don't really think the show's that funny. I'm sorry, I just don't. Do I still watch it? Yes, but like I said in my other video, don't expect a weekly The Paynes episode review because I cannot just watch one episode. I have to watch at least 2 to 3 to see if the story even moves anywhere in order to do an episode review. And I feel like most of my episode reviews is just me complaining about the show rather than reviewing it. But that's probably because nothing really happens in the episode. The only thing of merit in the episode is when Nyla asked Curtis and Ella if they could watch the kids for her as she goes out again with Kendrick. Because in the previous episode, Kendrick didn't show up, but gave her a phone call asking, you know, if she wanted to go out, if they can go out tonight, go to a movie. And it's like, well, I got to work. Well, no, we can go see that movie you want to watch. And what about the kids? It's like, you can get Curtis and Ella. Don't they love them? Yeah, one of them. But either way, we went out last night, and I don't want to take advantage of their hospitality. So while Curtis and Ella are finally about to get up and get out of the house to go talk to Joanne, I'm like, finally, we're getting out of the house. Nyla rolls up asking to watch the kids, and it's just like, well, we got somewhere important to go. Oh, no, they'll be good. Then Curtis, you know, stating the obvious, you need to watch your kids. We watched them last night, and that's good. I'm glad that happened. Thankfully, Nyla told Kendrick in the last episode that, let me talk to Miss Ella first, and then I'll call you back. At least she had that decency and just saying, oh, no, Kendrick, we'll go out tonight. I'm sure they'll just keep the kids now, be it. No, let me go ask Miss Ella first, then see what she says, and then I'll determine whether or not we're going out tonight. I do like that aspect of it. But just under the assumption that just because you have somewhere important to go doesn't mean that the Paynes have to carry your kids to somewhere they need to go, which is also important. So glad they shut that down. All right, so that was pretty much the first, like, 15 minutes of the episode. Then we get over to the church. And let me just say, even though I feel like Jack A is being very underutilized in the series, and just like the other characters on the show, she's given material that really isn't that funny. I get it. It's like Jack A is still portraying like the seducting. She pretty much, we all had those people in our family, like anything you say to them, they can automatically turn into something seductive or whatever. And I see what they're trying to do with the character, but it really isn't giving me that same amount of charm as, you know, her character on 227, ooh, Mary, or on Sister Sister when she was Lisa. Again, nothing against Jack A. I love Jack A. I just feel like, you know, the show really isn't properly utilizing her. Just my opinion. And I did like, you know, the back and forth at the church, you know, talking about the Uncle Robert and his crimes and all. I just feel like it was very awkward for them to be talking in the middle of a, well, room full of younger people and workers about the Paynes family secret, which involves crimes. I mean, yeah, you can say what you want about Uncle Robert being dead, but in the House of Lord, I don't think you should be conversing. And didn't Joanne say, like, hell or the S word or something like that? And I'm just like, excuse me, lady, you're in church right now? So there was that aspect of it. Let me just put it this way. Yeah, I was laughing at Curtis, like, Uncle Robert. I always loved him. I looked up to him. He was my hero. You know, I take it back. I did actually laugh a couple of times, just like I did in episode 19, but only because of Curtis. Let me put it this way, and this is a Ella rant, and my gosh, I am not a fan of the character on this show. I liked her in House of Paynes, but in the Paynes, I am not a fan of Ella. I think I might have done a mini Ella rant in episode 19, which is a review I did yesterday. And I know I did one about Ella about after the money was found at the laundromat. But Curtis, once again, was right. This is your fault. Even though Ella threatened him with the doghouse and all that other bull crap. Well, I mean, then again, I'm single, I'm not married, so I have heard of the deadly doghouse for men, or excuse me, husbands to stay in when their wives are ticked off, whether it's because they're ticked off for being ticked off or if their husband legitimately messed up. But I just feel that I honestly don't think I would want Ella in my family. Like, okay, let me break it down. Am I condoning what Uncle Robert did? No. But all I'm saying is if the man is dead and gone and, you know, hey, he left the money. Okay, here's my problem. Let me break it down. First off, Joanne, the only thing I really didn't like about it was the fact that, you know, and it goes back to my Ella rant during the money episode where she decided that Joanne should get half of the money. Joanne was being broken off some money by Uncle Robert, like I'm guessing for most of her life, whether, you know, what, he bought her a car. And even I'm willing to bet that Uncle Robert was giving her money even when she was taking care of him in his older age and whatnot. Not to mention when she was younger as well, just before being like his niece, like, hey, here you go, niece, or something like that. Not to mention probably other members of the family. So that makes me mad at Joanne's character for demanding that she deserves part of the money from Uncle Robert, which begs the question. Well, I will say this much. Kind of like the haves and the have-nots, if Quincy Jr. was in foster care like Candace wanted, he would most likely still be alive. If Joanne would have gotten the money that she really didn't deserve, but if she would have gotten the money from the laundromat, she wouldn't have put it in the bank. And from there, the FBI, well, excuse me, like the, you know, yeah, FBI or whatever wouldn't have been involved in it. So the only thing that would have really happened differently was that the Payne, well, Ella and Curtis, well, let me just say Ella because Curtis wasn't in for it. The laundromat wouldn't have been fixed up. I think as a show of good gesture, Joanne would have taken part of the money and given that to Terrence to fix up the laundromat, because I feel like if anything, that's the least she could have done because she was the one that sold Curtis that hunk of junk to begin with. And yes, Curtis should have examined the place before buying it, but you get what I'm saying. In terms of being a good person, that would have been the right thing to do. But yeah, that's how I feel like that would have worked out. And Joanne, you know, whatever. But I mean, another thing is, oh Lord have mercy. Okay, let me talk about Ella. I think Joanne said it right. It's like, see, I knew. And see who you married, Curtis? She's too righteous to be in this family. And the fact that Ella would have snitched, oh my God. Like, again, I'm not condoning what happened with Uncle Robert and the robbery, but coming from a black family myself, you know, I got my mom's side of the family, I got my dad's side. I don't know what kind of stuff, man. There are probably crimes and all I don't even know about. I mean, I feel like any family can say that because if there was a crime that went down and it wasn't meant to be known, then you wouldn't know about it. So all I'm saying, if there was ever some bank robbery in my family, I never got a piece of that money. So whatever. Well, all I'm saying is this. If I'm in a family and somebody that, let me just say, let's say if I had a great grandpappy or whatever that robbed a bank and I found out about it, like I'm 26 now. Let's say I found about it now. What the heck would that have to do with me? Like, I mean, he wasn't caught. Oh, you know, there was money left and yada, yada, yada. But like I said, none of the money ever trickled down to me. So I really wouldn't give a crap. I'd be like, well, oh, well. I would not take it upon myself to call 911 or the police and tell them, hey, you remember that bank robbery in such and such a town in 1954 that went unsolved? Well, my great grandfather was the one to do it. Why would I do that? That makes no sense. That is stupid. Like, I get it, you know, if not just being, you know, like being a Christian is one thing because I'm a Christian myself, but anybody with some sense and has good morals would know that, you know, when something wrong is going down, then you should, well, then again, snitches get stitches. Lord, I don't even know what to say here because I don't want to sound like a major hypocrite, but it's just like, if there's a difference between somebody getting hurt versus somebody taking money, it's like if somebody robs a rich person's house and takes a painting, you know, would you really say anything compared to if you saw someone being raped or something like that and you tried to either help out physically or call the cops? You know, all I'm saying is this much. It had nothing to do with you, Ella, so shut up. And then, oh my God, I know what I wanted to say. Early in the episode, what ticked me off is like Ella running her mouth. Is like, oh yeah, you know, that's your uncle, right? That's your uncle. And it's like, yeah, my husband bought the laundromat and stuff. I'm just like, oh my God. So yeah, Ella just doesn't know when to shut the up. So there's that. I want to know, I would love to see if Ella has any family skeletons in her closet that she didn't know about. I mean, just like Curtis didn't know about his uncle. And to be honest, it feels weird to say, but I feel bad for Curtis. He had nothing to do with this. Like, yeah, he bought the laundromat and everything, but keep in mind, he didn't know about any of this stuff that Joanne has been keeping under wraps. So, yeah, if anything, and this sounds weird to just say this in the defense of Curtis Payne, he's the victim. He has nothing to do with this. Ella was the one that took the money and put it in her account. Curtis had nothing to do with it. Oh my, I'm just saying, folks. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, just like, I'm done. This lying and this thievery, the gigolos. Ella, get out of here. I'm done with you. Just go. I just, no. You're just way too righteous for me. Just no. And wait, it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. So an episode's coming on tonight. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to watch the tonight's episode sometime this weekend instead of waiting until like 2 or 3 weeks from now, just because I want to see what's happening when we get to you know, what Ella has to say. But I just don't even know what to say. Guys, let me know in the comments below. Am I being too hard on this show, or am I just kind of like bouncing back or regurgitating what you feel about the show? Like, I know a lot of people just tell me I don't even watch it, Jeremy. I don't. You know, I try to give my support and watch every now and then, but the show really hasn't had a solid storyline to keep me intrigued. The most interesting thing is Nyla right now, but I'll do a video on that soon because somebody actually sent me a theory about it. But I don't even, honestly, I'm going to skip ranking this episode because I know if I did, it would be an extremely low score. I feel like this episode might be like a -2, and that is the lowest score. I feel like it's freaking Dancing with the Stars. Do they even have negative numbers on Dancing with the Stars? I don't know, but I think this episode is like a -2, man. It's just Ella being all self-righteous, not knowing to shut the heck up. It's like, yeah, it's like, look, there's... Even Lord, let me stop, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm sorry, it's like I want to give this show a chance, guys. I've watched every episode, so I'm not just talking out of behind. It's like, Jeremy, you just watched like 2 episodes and you're ranting. No, I've watched this show from the beginning, and I got the videos to prove it. On the screen now, you should see a little pop up for my Paynes playlist, a picture of Jeffrey, so you can click on to subscribe to the channel. And guys, thanks so much. If you made it this far in the video, kudos to you. Maybe it's because you agree with everything I'm saying, but take care. Let me know your thoughts on the Paynes in the comments section below, and I'll talk to y'all later.